Hi, everybody. My name is Tony Vargas. I am the proud executive director of Square One. We are a national nonprofit that is focused on winning back the House, supporting and recruiting women, people of color, and LGBTQ plus candidates to run and win in red districts in the red states. We've been around since 2016. I'm the recent ED as of this year. But the reason I'm talking to you, I'm so excited to be part of DemocracyFest, is because I have some words of wisdom for you and for so many across the country about how we win in red states, in red districts, because not only am I the executive director of Square One, I'm a former congressional candidate. We're the top 5 race across the country last cycle. I've also been an elected official for nearly plus 12 years in Nebraska as a state senator, as a school board member. And I believe I have some words of wisdom to be able to share with you so that we can do this work collectively and we are learning about the work that we do. So a little bit about me. I am the proud son of Latino immigrants. My parents are from Peru. They moved to the States because they believed in the American dream. It's a big part of my story and my why. It's why I was the first in my generation to go to college. It's why I became a public school science teacher and served in AmeriCorps. It's why I got into public service in the first place. But it's also the reason why I believe we need to do more organizing and more of this work in these red districts and red states. Nebraska became my home because I fell in love with my wife, and my wife's entire family tree is from Nebraska. And it's the best thing that ever happened to us, honestly, because Nebraska became our home. We've been living in Nebraska for more than 15 years. This is where both of our kids are born and raised. This is where we were able to find our friends, our network, and more importantly, our why. For me, it was serving not only in the capacity as being a school board member, that's how I got into politics, but it was in actually trying to solve problems. I was a former public school science teacher, a teacher trainer, an education consultant, and I knew and saw what it took to actually be able to win over children, kids, make sure that they're learning and getting invested, catching them up from being 2 years behind, 3 years behind many different times. And what I realized is most of the work that we do is about building trust and about setting audacious goals and really working and fighting with perseverance. And that's what I did as a person in Nebraska. In Nebraska, I focused on the problems. I focused on the people. I focused on the community. Building trust sometimes can really take time, but more importantly, it's the intent in what you put into it. Before I ever thought about running for office, I really fell into this. I talked to members of the existing school board before I got in the school board. I talked to community members. I was trying to figure out what my value add can be, and that's the reason why I became a school board member. But my time in the Nebraska legislature, I learned that winning over and working within red districts and in red states, it really is about the relationships that you build. It's about the people that you are able to work with. I worked for 8 years in the Nebraska legislature as a state senator. I built a relationship with most of my colleagues, both Republican, Democrat, and independent alike. And there's times where I publicly disagreed with my Republican colleagues and fought them on issues. But where we were able to win was building bridges where we were able to build them, and then also working with the public to make sure they were educated on these issues, because that's how we push the envelope when truly Republicans are on the wrong side of different issues. And so this is where we were able to find this common ground and push things forward. But I also found it was the relational organizing that we did on the ground. For every single year, we were knocking on doors, not just during election time. We were at the community meetings. We were engaged in the community because we wanted people to know that we're showing up, not just when we need your vote. And finding that common ground on really great public schools, on making sure that we are investing in affordable housing, making sure that a living wage is actually possible for everyday Nebraskans. These were common sense things that people all agreed on. And the most important thing was trying to make a connection between the policy and my work in leadership and how we can build a coalition to get things done. That's what was really successful in the work that we did here on the ground in Nebraska, the work that I was able to do as a state senator, along with all my colleagues, along with other stakeholders. But it reminds me that if you're looking at what we need to do in these red districts and red states, you have to start with building the relationships with the individuals on the ground. You have to start with making sure that you're focused on actually solving a set of problems. It is not often It actually has very often what happens is we get a lot of people that run for office, but they don't find what they really want to solve. And I think that is where the biggest value add for having community leaders that want to be doers and don't want to just be the ones on the outside looking in, but the ones that are in the weeds doing the work. That's how I found the work that I was doing to be so successful. That's also how I found clarity in where we were going in the future. And it's the reason why, honestly, I ran for Congress, because we found success in passing more than 70 bills into law in Nebraska. We were able to see a lot of legislative wins from Democrats from all across Nebraska doing incredible work, but we still hadn't had a congressional candidate that was able to win. And so running for Congress was about pushing these issues and pushing the envelope on the things that really, really matter. But I will tell you, as somebody that is not originally from Nebraska, but is a transplant and a very, very proud Nebraskan and Nebraska family now, it was something that was incredibly hard to do. But what I think gave me both the energy and the connection to the community was not only my wife and her family all across the state, but that Nebraskans really want to know why you want to be in this place, why you choose to live in this state, in this city, and for us living and choosing Omaha and choosing Nebraska. They want to know why. A lot of people don't really care whether or not you are from there or you are born and raised there. They want to know why you choose to live there and what you're doing to then be part of a greater community. Because it is really about neighbors. It's about the work that you do for the common good. And you can't just say that, you have to demonstrate it. And so these are the things that I learned. I was able to do a lot of great work in the Nebraska legislature, on the school board, and now I get to do this great work for Square One by making sure that we're getting more and more candidates elected to Congress and making sure that they're staying connected to the community throughout their campaign. It's easy to nationalize these races. It's easy to be disconnected. But if you can stay grounded in the people that you're really trying to represent, not those in DC, not those across the country, the people in your district, I believe that not only will we win, but most importantly, we're going to win over voters in building relationships and their faith in government again. And right now, their faith in government and elected officials is something that we really need to work on. And so that's what I'm working on. I just appreciate you. Again, for DemocracyFest, this is wonderful that we get to do this. And thank you for getting engaged and doing everything you can to be part of the organizing on the ground. There's no shortage of need. Go and find a candidate, go and find an issue, do the work, and you're going to find that you're going to learn a tremendous amount, and you're going to have so much value add to your community, to your city, to your state. Thank you so much.